Oh my god, what is up, guys? Okay, so I'm really hoping that the audio and the visual go over well because I am once again in a new place. So, just to do a little forward before I start with the actual episode. One, this is going to be a bonus episode. I am going to be talking about my relationship with food. This is a trigger warning episode. I will be talking about my relationship with food. I will be talking about disordered eating. I will be talking about body dysmorphia, etc. If you are uncomfortable with that, please leave. If not, please stay. If you want to educate yourself, please stay. If you are intrigued by the topic, please stay. However, if this is a topic that makes you uncomfortable, that would trigger you, please, now is the time to leave. That is the first disclaimer or thing I wanted to say. Second thing, I am at my family's house. Hello. So, I really don't know how this recording will go. I actually just tried to record this episode and the Wi-Fi cut out and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So, I really hope that this bodes over well because I just want to record this episode so I can get it up and going. Number 3. This is going to be a podcast episode in January. I am recording ahead of time, so the things that I will be saying might not be accurate by the time the episode is released. However, I will do my best. These are things that I am recording on December 29th for January 14th. So that is like 2 to 3 weeks ahead of time. As you guys know, I went to go visit my family for the holidays, so I recorded probably 4 or 5 episodes in advance. Okay. So, turns out my, Wi-Fi sucks here, so I will probably have to edit this video and do it into parts to go where I left off. My parents went out to dinner at a seafood restaurant, and they asked me if I wanted to go. However, the options were very slim pickings for me because I don't like seafood. So my choices were a salad, a burger, filet mignon, or chicken parmesan, and I was not feeling any of that. So I decided to stay home and record. It was the perfect opportunity. I was really missing recording a podcast episode. I really do enjoy this and love doing this and love coming up with content and topics to talk about with you guys. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to stay home. And, I spent a week with my family already. One night alone isn't going to be the end of the world, especially because I'm here for 2 weeks. To those that also have no idea or haven't listened to another podcast episode wherever I mentioned it, I am not working until January 31st. I'm switching jobs, and the whole month of January I'm off. So I actually am enjoying the time alone and figuring out podcast ideas, vlogging ideas, the whole 9 yards. I have so much thoughts in my mind, as well as schoolwork and reading and staying on top of everything I have to do. And also, my girlfriend works weekends only and has 4 days off during the week, so she wants to explore with me while I have some time off. So we're going to go around Texas and surrounding areas, not like super far like Dallas or El Paso, but like central Texas areas, like Austin, Fredericksburg, whatever, places I haven't been, so I'm really excited for that. So please stay tuned on YouTube for those vlogs, and I'm sure I'll be talking about it in future podcast episodes. This is a bonus episode, so I will probably do a bonus episode of like my January recap for all of the things that I've done that are fun. But In the meantime, I wanted to record this bonus episode because I'm really interested in talking about a relationship with food, the vicious cycle of binge eating and restricting food intake, or also known as restricting, starving, anything along those lines. Those are very, very unhealthy habits that I am so proud to say I have broken free from. And I want to talk about something that I have come across listening to Soph Mosca's Happy Human Club podcast. I will rave about Soph's podcast. I will also rave about Liz's podcast, which is called Date Yourself Instead. Those are the two podcasts that I listen to religiously, on top of a couple other podcasts that I occasionally listen to some episodes of, and also read a bunch of books and do some internet research, and have my own personal experience. So my podcast comes from an eclectic kind of pick at it from all of the things that I use to fill my mind with. So this episode is a shout out to Soph's podcast because there is one thing that she has, I guess, lived by that I find really interesting and want to incorporate in my life. So in January, as I've stated, I am not really going to be working on myself too much. I'm going to be more so enjoying myself before developing habits. So I want to develop habits in January, but because I'm not going to be home, I'm not going to be working, I'm not going to be in like this natural rhythm of things, I need a chance to build that. So starting February 1st, I'll build those habits, but in January, I'll be exploring, having fun, vlogging, all that jazz. So I'm like in this weird limbo for 2024 because January is going to be completely different because it just looks different for me this upcoming year. It's not like a same schedule for me. I'm going to completely change my life in February. So I'm going to start building some healthy habits in January, but because I'm off from work, I'm going to be doing a little bit of indulging. Therefore, I can't guarantee that the healthy habits will start in January, which is okay. And I want y'all to know it's okay because January is one of those months we put way too much stress on ourselves and we sometimes fail. Sometimes we start in February with our knowledge from January, and sometimes we just give up altogether depending on what that healthy habit is. With New Year's goals, everybody has a different goal that they're looking forward to incorporating into their life. Some have one main goal, some have like a million different goals. Whatever your goals are, I hope that you are doing well with them. But I want to remind you that this podcast episode is very, very important in terms of healthy eating, self-love, caring about yourself, and doing right by your body. So, one thing that Soph lives by is how she designates her food. She has food that is healthy for your body and food that is healthy for your mind. So what this looks like is foods that benefit your physical health and well-being, right? That's going to be your really good proteins, maybe like fish, vegetables, fruits, things that you would normally see in a diet, whether it be keto, whether it be some ridiculous fad diet. I know there's a million out there, but those are the types of foods we're looking at when it's for your physical health and well-being. Then we have your like healthy for your mind food, which would benefit your mental health and your happiness. Those foods can look like candy or sweets or bread, carbs, pasta, things that not necessarily aren't good for you, but they make you happy. They really hit the spot. They make you smile. They fill your heart and soul and just make you happy. So those foods aren't necessarily going to help you lose weight or, might up your cholesterol or your sugars if you're a diabetic like me. Hello. But those are the food kind of differences. And the best thing that she does is she doesn't put a negative connotation to either of these foods. She keeps the connotations positive by labeling one as a food that benefits your physical health and a food that benefits your mental health. And I think that's amazing. Now, to break it down, find foods that benefit both. Because for me, for example, I eat healthy foods that I actually love. So broccoli is one of them, actually, which is funny because I used to hate broccoli. But that is a food that is technically good for me, but also just makes me happy. Another food is tofu because I don't like seafood. I'm really not big into protein packed foods, that red meat, fish, any of it. I'm not a huge protein girly, so I have to find different ways to get my protein, and tofu is one of them. So those are the foods that you want to make a list of, ones that benefit both. They have to benefit both. You're going to put those foods on your weekly grocery list or however often you go shopping. Then, foods that definitely are on your physical health and well-being, you're going to get those on your grocery list. You're going to get as many as you like. If you don't like them, don't get them. If you haven't tried them, maybe try picking it up. If you maybe get a recipe that you want to try, or even just want to try the food in general, maybe you don't have a whole recipe for it, go ahead and pick it up. But don't put it on your weekly grocery list yet. Your weekly grocery list is going to consist of ones that benefit both, and then definitely a good select few of the physical health benefit foods. And then maybe one or two, don't go too crazy on those mental health foods. You don't want to restrict your mental health foods because you are going to crave them. You are going to be sad that you're not eating them. It's not, I don't think it's right, personally. I know that everybody out there has a different opinion, but my opinion is that if the food makes you happy, you should be eating it. You don't have to restrict yourself and not eat the foods that make you happy. Maybe you want to limit your intake of them. Maybe you're a diabetic and you don't want your sugar going too high. Maybe you like cake, right? Cake with that sugar frosting. I personally like buttercream, but let's say you like the sugar frosting and you're a diabetic. It's okay to have maybe like a cupcake in moderation, but don't limit yourself and don't take it out of your grocery list just because it's not healthy. It's completely okay to have food that isn't necessarily good for you all the time. It's good for your mind, and if that is something that's going to keep you happy, if that's something that your heart is going to feel full eating, you should be doing it. We literally have only so much time to live. Why are you getting rid of something that makes you happy? Is it going to make you live longer? That one piece of cake, is it really going to make that much of a difference? Maybe it will, but maybe you don't want to live to 100. I know I don't. Regardless, whatever the case may be, maybe this isn't my best argument, but I personally feel like we should be eating a mixture of both. We should be eating food that makes us happy and healthy in every shape and form. But Soph's kind of philosophy with this is that the mindset prevents taking away the good versus the bad. And it's really hard for me to talk about because I'm not completely ingrained in this process yet, but it takes away foods that make you feel guilty, right? Because if you eat cake, you're going to feel guilty. But if you say, well, this piece of cake is good for my mental health, it's making me happy, you're not going to feel as guilty. If you are eating a piece of cake that's considered a bad food, well, now you can say you're adding a food that is good for your mental health and happiness rather than taking away a food that is not good for you physically. Still good for you mentally. You're having a blast eating it. Your heart is happy. You feel full. You feel delighted. That's the whole point. Now, I think this whole negative kind of connotations to certain foods also comes from a negative self-talk. In 2021, I went on a vacation to Cocoa Beach where I thought I was fat. It is 2023. I've probably gained 40 to 50 pounds since that trip. Now I think I'm fat, and back then I think I was skinny as hell. And it's funny because I guarantee you, if I were to gain another 20 to 30 pounds, which I don't plan on doing, but if I were, I would think that this version of me is skinny and whatever version I am is fat. It's this negative self-talk that we put on ourselves that really, honestly, has a lot to do with not only age, but the environment that we're in, the people that we surround ourselves with, and the media. If we are always on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and different social media, and we are seeing these skinny girls, that is not going to help us. So please do yourself a favor, and if you feel yourself looking at these people and feeling bad about yourself, you should be unfollowing them. You should be following people that are encouraging you to eat healthy or are encouraging you to do right by yourself and your body. If they are going to make you want to starve yourself or, not restrict your eating or over-exercise, don't. Just do yourself a favor, unsubscribe, unfollow, because that is not the mentality you want to be putting yourself in. You should be enjoying the foods that you love and finding a healthy balance and a healthy regimen that is sustainable for you and sustainable for you to lose weight, maintain a healthy weight whenever you get there, and overall just makes you happy with who you are. We all want to lose weight or gain muscle or, we all have these ideas of how we want to change or fix ourselves, right? But the main idea here is that we need to learn how to be happy with ourselves. Like, I'm only going to be happy if I lose 20 pounds, or I'm only going to be happy if I'm exercising for an hour a day, 7 days a week, whatever your kind of like goals are in your mind that may or may not be healthy for you. You need to figure that out. Please hold. I'm gonna have so much editing to do. Whew. Okay. But the point is that we will get into negative self-talk and our mindsets later on in the year with this podcast. But for now, I just want to say that it's very important to remind yourself to go easy on yourself and take it easy with yourself, because we all have negative self-talk and comparisons. And a lot of it has to do with social media or past versions of ourselves. Like I said, me 2 years ago in 2021, I was skinny compared to what I am now. And I realized that. But I am not going to make myself my own worst critic. I am going to love myself and remind myself that it is okay to get to a healthy weight in a healthy way. And that I can also love myself now, whether I'm at the weight I want to be at or not. Because you know what? I'm going to stand up and recognize that I am beautiful. And I am so happy with how far I have come. And I am so happy with however I'm going to be the next 3-4 years until I'm 30, because I know for a damn fact that I have so much good and so much to accomplish, that whatever it is that I do, as long as I am living for me and I'm living for my happiness, that is all that matters. So again, if you have a ridiculous idea of yourself in your head, get it out. Easier said than done, but get that image out of your head of what a pretty girl should look like, if she should be 50 pounds less than you are, or if she needs muscle in certain aspects, or she should be lifting this amount of weight, whatever the case may be. No. I promise you, if you are working out to reach a goal, it is going to be very hard to sustain that, because you are going to keep pushing yourself and realizing this isn't it. But if you work out to feel better, to lift a weight off of your shoulders, I promise you that is going to be a lot more sustainable than I need to lose 50 pounds, because then you're going to go into the gym with a mindset of, I want to feel good today. How simple is that? You go on a couple machines, I feel good today, I'm going to keep going. You do a couple more machines, maybe some free weights, and you are killing it. I promise you that's going to be a lot more sustainable than going on that treadmill, doing that TikTok trend, lifting certain weights, doing certain exercises, saying your butt isn't big enough, your stomach isn't small enough, you're not losing weight like you want to be, you're building too much muscle, you're not building enough muscle, you're never going to reach your goals. You are going to feed into negative self-talk. I promise you. Again, age does take a factor into that. So I know that as I get older, I have come more into a mindset that I want to work out for me and not my goals. And I think that's going to be a huge difference in 2024 for me, is that I am saying goodbye to the goals, hello to a happy version of myself. We are constantly fighting against social media and certain standards that the media portrays, and having these comparisons, and society compare us to other people or show us these comparisons, and now we're comparing ourselves to other people. And honestly, again, that is not a standard that we want to follow, because it's not sustainable. I promise you, there are so many trends out there that are in or out, and you don't have to follow them. Right? Big eyebrows were like a huge thing, and then thin eyebrows, and now big eyebrows are back in. I plucked my eyebrows so much that I have to pencil them in. For what? I could have left my eyebrows thick, you're telling me? Jeans, high-waisted, low-waisted, it changes constantly. Skinny jeans are out. Please, I'm still wearing skinny jeans because they make me happy. But you get what I'm saying? It's like the media tells us what trends are popular and we just follow them. How about wearing what makes us happy? Why are all of our shirts cut like this? Like right under our boobs? What's up with these crop tops? What if I don't want to wear a crop top? What if crop tops don't make me happy? Now I have to go find clothes in some other way, shape, or form. It's like following the standards of what society deems as in style or trending or whatever. Instead of constantly following these stereotypes or these trends, like, how about we just do what makes us happy? Because at the end of the day, I need to live for me and what makes me happy. And the only way I'm going to be able to do that is to get past all of the things that we as a society deem to be important or trendy or beautiful or the beauty standard. Like, no, I'm over it. I'm sorry, I am so over it. And y'all should be too, because what is this? We should be in the era of self Self-love. That is what is going to make us happy, is loving ourselves for exactly who we are. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Thank you very much. Another thing I want to point out, very, very important, is that food is not the enemy, and stop treating food as the enemy. A balanced diet is needed. A balance with your food is needed. Neither extreme, whether it be binging, restricting, throwing up, purging, whatever, no extreme is healthy for you. None. I promise you, no extreme is healthy for you, and no extreme is worth it for you. It is not sustainable, and you know damn well it's not sustainable. Whether it's not healthy for your body, whether it's not healthy for your brain, we need food to live. Food is what gives us life. Food is what gives us energy. Food is not the enemy, so stop treating it as such. What is the enemy is society's frickin' standards of us. Why do we have to follow a standard? I'm sorry, but why? Another thing, healthy relationships with food go hand in hand with how we view ourselves and how we talk about ourselves. That negative self-talk or positive self-talk, that goes hand in hand with our relationship with food, our relationship with ourselves, our relationships with exercise, our relationships with anything to do with our health. They all go together. So, the way to build a habit with your food, with your health, with your body, is to remind yourself that food is energy. Food gives us life. Exercise is good for the body. Right? Not over exercise, just exercise. Getting up and walking, or working out for 30 minutes a day, going on a walk, going on a run, swimming, whatever makes you happy, find that form of exercise. That is healthy. Sustainability is what is important. Are you eating a diet that is sustainable, or are you doing a fad diet? Are you eating a sustainable regimen? Are you getting your fruits? Are you getting your vegetables? Are you getting your protein? However you come up with your grocery list and your meals is what you're eating sustainable, is how you're working out sustainable. Are you going to maintain a healthy weight with what you're doing, or are you going to lose weight and just gain it back? Are you going to gain weight and struggle to lose weight? Whatever you're looking for, make sure that I just had to crack my back. Make sure whatever you are doing is going to help you in a healthy way in the long run. I don't know if this is going to help any of y'all. I just had to go on that rant, if I'm being honest with y'all. All I have to say, again, is my relationship with food has changed a lot since I've read so much about healthy eating and healthy habits and sustainable habits and not restricting myself, learning how others have overcome their relationship with food. Like I said, I'm sitting here 6 o'clock at night drinking a coffee. Is that healthy for me? Am I going to have trouble going to bed tonight? Probably going to have trouble. Probably not healthy for me in a physical sense. But I can guarantee you this coffee is making me so happy because it is fueling me to do this podcast and have a good time, and fills my heart because I love the taste of a light and sweet coffee. And it feels so good, and I'm enjoying it, and I'm not even halfway done with it. And I might not finish it. Maybe I'll save it for tomorrow, maybe I'll dump it out. Whatever the case may be, I am not stressing about the calories, the carbs, the sugar intake. Yes, I need to count it for my insulin, but in terms of logging it into a calorie counter app, I can promise you I'm not doing that anymore. No, it's not worth it. I am enjoying who I am, what I'm eating, because it makes me happy. Because I only have one life to live. So if I can choose to live my life the way I want to live it for the one life that I'm living, you can bet your butt that I will be enjoying food, exercising, living life, making sure that both my physical and mental health are being met. And I just want to thank so much for the idea of not putting a negative connotation to eating, because we shouldn't have a negative connotation to eating. Food is what fuels us. It's like trying to drive a car with no gas. Why would I do that to myself? I can't get from point A to point B without gas. So why would I expect myself to fuel my body and get from the morning to night with no energy, no food, no fuel? Makes no sense. And it just makes me realize that we take a lot for granted, and we also just like really push ourselves as a society when we really don't need to be. We should be living life for ourselves. And in 2024, I can promise y'all, like a pinky promise y'all, that I'll be doing what makes me happy, and I can't wait for you guys to see what that means in this journey. Anyway, with that being said, I think this is a long enough bonus episode. So I will see you guys next time.